Morning, everyone. This is Mr. Pally. Today we're going to go over identifying and citing reliable sources. So for this lesson, I highly recommend that you're using the video that you're watching now and that you do this lesson on a computer or at least have a phone next to you because we're going to be looking at different websites. So it's helpful for you to be able to look at the website yourself. But in this video, I'll show you how I would look through each of the websites as we evaluate them to figure out if they're reliable sources or not, if we want to include these as sources in our research projects. All right, let's get started. So in the last lesson, we were working on summarizing an article about static electricity. Today, I have 3 different articles about static electricity from 3 different sources. So this first one is from a website called Explain That Stuff. The second one is the article that we read in class from the U.S. Library of Congress. And this third website is Science 101 about static electricity from MacMorris Heating and Air Conditioning. All right. So make sure you have your notes open or on a separate piece of paper. The first thing we're going to be putting in the notes is the 4 steps to identifying a good source. So the 4 steps are knowing who is the author. Who is the author? Next, is the information accurate? Is the information accurate? Is the information biased? Is the information current? Or is it up to date? Is the information current or up to date? Okay, so we're gonna look into each of these in a little more detail so you know exactly what to do to figure all this stuff out. But these are the 4 basic steps you want to check on any website to make sure, is this a legit source of information? Is this something that I could use in my own research? Or should I worry that this information, the site or source might tell me something that's not true? So first step is who is the author? So a lot of the time on a website, if there is no author, what you need to do instead is identify the institution that wrote it. You need to identify the institution. So that might be the case if, for example, you are looking at a Wikipedia article. There's usually no author at the top, but it's coming from the organization Wikipedia. Same thing with many government articles. There might not be a single author, but instead for the author, you would put the institution. So in that case, it would be the U.S. government, the U.S. federal government. So one of the easiest ways to check if a website is reliable is looking at the end of the website address. So the 3 most reliable URL endings for sources of information are .gov, .org, and .edu. So .gov are governmental institutions, .org are organizations, they tend to be nonprofits, and .edu are educational institutions. So these are .gov, .org, and .edu tend to be the most reliable sources for information. Websites ending in the following URLs are less reliable. Those include .com, which stands for commercial, and .net. So .net is less popular now. A lot of the time, if people were making their own websites, they would use .net. So both .com and .net are not as reliable. So what I want you to do now is on your own, take a minute, pause this video, take a minute to answer this question. why do you think .com websites are less reliable? So remember, .com stands for commercial, which means they're usually some sort of business. Why are they less reliable as a source of information? All right. So let's get into figuring out whether our sources meet this criteria. So there's three. To know who the author is, we're going to kind of break it down into those three kind of categories that we mentioned before. So who's the author? So let's look at each of our sites. First, let's look at Explain That Stuff. So Explain That Stuff is right here. So I'm seeing the author is Chris Woodford. So I'm going to put that in here. I don't really know anything about Chris Woodford yet, but that is who our author is. Now for the Library of Congress article, I don't see an author. Usually the author is at the top of the article. It also might be at the very bottom of the article. I'm not seeing it here. So since there's no author, I'm going to give the institution instead, and the institution is the U.S. Library of Congress. And then for Mac Morris Heating and Air Conditioning, I don't see an author here at the top, and I don't see an author at the bottom. So, in that case, I am going to put the institution. In this case, it's this company, Mac Morris Heating and Air Conditioning. So is the author or source an authority on the subject? How do you know? Okay.